This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, it's Alex and this is the Ramble, and we go from now until midnight tonight. This is our only show this week because it's Thanksgiving, and you know, what the hell, why not? We're taking Thursday off, of course, and then we're going to take Friday off because we have to go to the Black Friday sales. Okay, all right, okay. Anyway, as you know, this is what do you call it? The first show of the week, and whenever we do that, we go and check in with this guy right over here. Here he is. And you know what I should do? I should also put your name under you, so everybody knows that you are, in fact, let me see here. Where are we? There we go. All righty. Let me just, there we go. Okay, there's Phil Meyer. Hello, Phil.
Hey, how you doing? You know, I'm looking for equity. You should have your name under your square, too.
Well, I don't have room over there because I got the GabNet under it, so.
Put it above.
Turn up your mic a little bit, will you?
All right, sure.
You know, I'm having a little bit of trouble.
Okay, I'll just move it closer. I think this $100 board
Whoops.
is breaking down.
It was a $100 what?
A $100 board, I think it's on its last legs.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, my audio is down too here. Okay, now I just set it up.
So, we're not going to have a show the rest of the week, and there's a racist holiday on Friday.
Racist holiday?
Yeah, Black Friday.
Oh.
Now, if they can have Black Friday, why can't they have Jew Boy Monday?
Mm.
You know.
Well, anytime there's a sale, it's Jew Boy Monday. So,
Hey.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Self-loathing Jew here, pulling anti-Semitic jokes.
Yeah. Well, let's see. You want to talk about anything first, or you want to talk about Aubrey and the three good old boys that are?
Do we have to?
Well, you know,
because I know what you're going to say, and I don't want to. Yeah.
Okay. What am I going to say?
I don't know, but it's going to make everybody mad.
Okay. Let me try this one.
Yeah.
If Aubrey had a gun, and
I think his name is Arbery.
Aubrey. Okay. And he was able to stave off the attack by the three.
This is your judge. This is your. Everybody should have a gun theory, huh?
Of course, yes. But you know, look how it helped Rittenhouse. He was accosted, and
he wasn't accosted.
Yeah, the guy pointed the gun at him. Another guy hit him over the head with a skateboard twice.
Because he had a AK-47 or whatever that stupid gun was.
He wasn't being aggressive.
You're giving me a headache already.
Okay, all right. Just look at the parallel here. Rittenhouse was able to defend himself.
Apparently, Thanksgiving has no meaning for this guy over here.
No. We'll talk turkey. Gobble, gobble. So he was able to defend himself. Yeah. But Arbery, he was unable to defend himself because he didn't have a gun. And if he had a gun, is that green?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Watch this, folks. You like that, huh?
Yeah. Well, what was the name of that show that the guy, the Invisible Man?
Invisible Man. Yeah.
Right.
This is kind of the Invisible Man here.
Yeah.
See, I bought this on the street. I saw it. It was green, and I said, you know, I could have fun with that. But you know something? This isn't much fun.
No. Well, hey, that's what you get when you get the free guests. You know, you don't get a lot of fun.
Let me just take this off. This could also get me sweating and doing everything else too. So
yeah. Well, it highlighted your eyes.
Yes, it did. Okay, that was my $8 joke on this show. Okay, That's what it cost me.
The joke was you spent $8 on that.
Yeah, right. Anyway, go back to what you were saying.
All right. Well, you don't make it a lot of fun when I come up with this argument. But the idea is, if the kid, a 25-year-old kid got murdered in Georgia, and if he would have been able to at least protect himself, he might not be,
If some people decided they weren't going to take the law into what they considered their own hands and play out their racism, this would have never happened too. Okay.
You don't take the law in your own hands when you have a right to carry. When you have a right to possess and bear arms. That is the law.
Well, then maybe it shouldn't be.
Well, then
there'd be a lot more live people.
I don't think so. It's not the good guys that.
Oh, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
it's true. So, okay, you're not having fun. I want you to have fun. It's the only show of the week. What do you want to talk about? What are you doing tomorrow?
No,
what are you doing for Turkey Day?
I knew this was going to come up.
What?
I dreaded it. I said maybe I shouldn't have had Phil on this week because I know what he's going to talk about.
Yeah, of course.
Like for instance, I think the most tasteless thing of the week was Trump inviting Rittenhouse to Mar-a-Lago.
I didn't know he did, but
you didn't know that? You didn't hear that?
No.
Oh, he met with Rittenhouse at Mar-a-Lago.
Well, that's good. I think that was a good thing.
Why was it a good thing?
Well, it is the Southern White House, and he really is the real president.
You don't believe that, Phil.
Yeah.
You don't believe that for a second.
Well, look, what did Biden say? First, he said, "Well, I guess we'll abide by the jury. That's the law." And then, 72 minutes later, he said, "It really makes me mad that this guy got off." He's at least Trump didn't jump to conclusions like Biden did and say that the guy was a white supremacist. And right after
he wanted to piss everybody off by inviting him to Mar-a-Lago and saying what a fine young man he was. That was his statement. What a fine young man he was.
Well, I think he ought to have him on The Apprentice.
He's only doing that because he knows it pisses people off.
No, I understand.
And then you've got Matt Gaetz has been asking. He has put a feeler out to Rittenhouse to be an intern.
Rittenhouse is too old for Matt Gaetz.
No, but he did do something. He went across state lines and he was underage. So that appealed to Matt Gaetz.
Yeah.
That's, by the way, that's a joke.
I thought he liked girls. I thought Gaetz liked girls.
I know, but Matt Gaetz has done it. But I mean, they're doing this to piss people off. Let's face it. No matter which way you want to cut it, the guy killed 2 people and injured 1.
Yeah, and he would have been...
Okay, so what are we doing? Celebrating murder?
He would have been buried if...
No, I don't think so. Well, not from what I saw.
I'm glad you're a soothsayer. You can tell the future.
No, you're trying to tell the future and say that he would have gotten killed if he hadn't shot these people. Well, so don't say I'm trying to predict the future.
Arbery is dead, and he didn't shoot the people. Rittenhouse is alive, and he shot him. So, the facts speak for themselves.
The facts speak for themselves?
Yeah. Rittenhouse is alive. Arbery is dead.
Mm-hmm.
The actions by Rittenhouse were those that saved his life. And that's what self-defense is for. And, we tend to believe a jury. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
If we're not going to believe the jury, then we should let the good old boys go home.
Well, I can't say that I totally believe in juries. I don't think they necessarily come out with the best decision on something. When you're saying that it's all in who can get the best jury, right, and load it in the right way, and blah 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 blah. Then you got a question as to whether the jury system really works.
Well,
You sh-
I
you know.
guess what they did was they convicted the good old boys and they freed Rittenhouse. So maybe the jury system does work.
Well, maybe the evidence was so overwhelming in the case of the Arbery case that they couldn't come out any other way on it. I think that they portioned it out a bit. The guy who took the photographs and stuff or the video on it
Hmm.
didn't get convicted on as many charges as the other people. I
Yeah.
think the murder with malice is the worst of the charges,
Yeah.
and
So
he
are those
wasn't.
guys going to get the chair,
I don't think there's a death penalty
Georgia?
in Georgia. I don't believe so. I
Yeah,
don't know.
they tie you to a stake and they let fire-eating ants crawl all over your
Well, that's what
chest.
they should do to these guys,
Yeah,
But
and their defense was terrible. We thought he was going to break into somebody's house, and my truck
no,
got
it wasn't a terrible defense. They had no defense.
right. Yeah, that's what I mean. They should have just said, "Hey, we made a mistake. We thought that it was this, and we made a mistake." But they didn't.
If they had done that, they probably, I don't know, I don't know how that would have come out. If they had said, "Yeah, we did it. We made a mistake," you know.
Yeah.
But as you can see, there was a little bit of a tussle, and I lost my mind. I didn't know what I was doing, and I accidentally shot the guy, or something like that. But to try and almost say it didn't happen, you
Yeah,
know.
they try to weasel out of it with with a racist excuse.
Yeah, yeah. So, do you think, as we say in Boston, that Rittenhouse is retarded?
No, not
Because
based on
because
the
because
performance.
what's his name? Oh God, I one of our callers, Tony,
Oh,
said that
okay.
said that he felt that he was
You're putting up a good one.
felt he was special.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I guess it takes them to know him.
yeah.
You know. You know, Tony's Tony can tell. I'm sure. I'm sure Rittenhouse is not the sharpest tack in the box, but on the other hand, his testimony, his interview with Tucker Carlson, I thought that he's got a place on Fox News. You know.
Oh, interview and Tucker Carlson are oxymorons.
Well, it's opinion, just like what I say is my opinion, and even what you say is your opinion.
Do you know that I think Tucker Carlson gets better ratings than Sean Hannity?
Well, he did buy the color videotape of the assault. The drone footage. He actually bought it.
Of
I
the
thought
what, the drone footage of what?
yeah, yeah. He bought it, and he
But
was
what
able
drone footage though?
the Rittenhouse that drone footage video that showed whether he was raising a gun or not, and a number of other things.
How
And
could
the
he
fact
buy that?
he bought it from the person that took it, and he also provided the high quality color rendition of it, whereas the prosecution gave a grainy black and white thing, and Tucker Carlson actually bought it. He bought that footage.
Well, he buys a lot of things.
Yeah. He's not Getz. Not Getz. I
Gates.
mean
Gates.
Gantz, whatever he is in Florida.
What?
Matt Gantz.
Matt
he buys a lot.
Gates.
Gates, Mike Gates. He buys a lot of things.
Boy, everybody, you should be drinking your ass off tonight.
I am.
Yeah, yeah. Let me have. I have coffee over here, and I have this lovely iced lemonade, which I love.
Oh, that's from Costco, isn't it?
Well, no, it was at one point, but now I have to buy it from Amazon because Costco. You know what I hate about Costco is they'll have something I really like, and they have this ice, and they had the lemonade pack. In other words, it was strawberry with strawberry lemonade and something else lemonade, and
Sure,
then just
half a
pure lemonade.
dozen things, different stuff.
And 2 dozen of them. Okay,
Yeah.
and I loved it. And all of a sudden, they stopped carrying it. You know, well, what's that all about? You know,
Well,
so I can buy the Kirkland shit.
Well, I tell you, I don't know how Amazon does it. I bought a pair of shoes, Mephisto shoes. They're good shoes. They're $380, and they're like boat shoes, but that's what I wear. I have now 3 pair, and all exactly the same, and I just rotate through them.
Yeah.
And so the shoes arrived today. I put them on, and it asked me online what your size was, and my shoe size is an 8.5, I think. And so American, but they asked me the European size, and I looked in my shoe, and it said 8, and I guess that wasn't the European size, that was the American size, or 8.5, and I ordered the wrong size. So as soon as it came in, I tried them on, and I said, these are too small. They hurt. So I put them right back in the box. I went on Amazon. I pushed a little button, and it says, I want to return it. They said, just bring it to Whole Foods, drop it off. You don't have to print a label. You don't have to do anything. Within 4 hours of dropping it off, you'll have your money back. And I ordered another pair of shoes in the size that I needed. That's an unbelievable customer service.
Oh yeah, but they've also gotten shitty on their customer service too.
Yeah.
It used to be that when you had something like that happen, okay, and let's say your package didn't arrive,
Yeah.
and you called them, and they said, well, it says here the package was delivered, and you go, well, I didn't get it. They said, well, we'll send you another one. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
In fact, if you have a pretty hard time finding the phone number for
Yeah.
Amazon. In fact, I find that some companies are terrible at letting you even talk to a human being these days.
That's very true. That's very true. That's why if you really want to have your customer service stand out, you respond to those calls as quickly as possible.
I think one of the companies that gives you your credit rating is Experian, right? And I got a thing the other day through my business manager from Bank of America saying we cannot give you we cannot give you a Bank of America traveler's card because you don't have the proper credit.
What?
Well, I don't know. And then it says if you have any problems, call Experian.
Yeah. Oh, getting through to Experian is
Impossible. Impossible.
They only want you to buy their credit report.
No, they not only want you to buy their credit report, buy some credit cards while you're there. That will increase. Well, what happened was I went on and I finally decided, okay, I'll do this thing where they boost you, okay?
Yeah.
So they asked for my bank.
How much can they boost you?
and
You're
I-
an 8 something, right?
By the way, I called Bank of America and they said my credit's no good. And the woman there looked at my bank statements and stuff and said, well, you could get any card we have.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have a problem. Apparently, somebody probably tried to use my name to try and get a credit card, and whatever. But anyway, I tried to get a hold of Experian, and finally, while I was there, I just decided to boost my rating. So I put in my bank account so they could do that, and I put in my Con Ed and phone bill, where I have those. And all of a sudden, it was boosted up to excellent.
Well, last time you looked at your
And prior to that, by the way, I didn't have a rating. Period. It was all 0, 0, 0, 0. They didn't have a rating.
crazy.
Yeah.
I remember Rob told us about Credit Karma.
Yeah.
And you went on Credit Karma, and at the time you were like 807, 813.
Yeah.
And that's the Vantage score. I have a credit card that tells you what your FICO is. My FICO is 844. My Vantage, which is the Credit Karma one, and it's only 2 of...
my FICO, that's what Experian wanted, was the FICO. And my FICO didn't exist. It hardly existed. So when I put in all these numbers and stuff to boost
Yeah.
it, all of a sudden I'm up around 840,
Well,
845, something like that.
that had to be. I'm trying to get into the website that shows it. So the that had to be an error. There had to be a glitch. You know, there's another guy. What do they call when you call yourself Alex Bennett? Is that a nom de plume?
That's a DBA, doing business as. It could be any one of a number of different
There's a
things.
guy that's like an eighth degree black belt that calls himself Alex Bennett, and he's on YouTube.
No,
You know?
I don't use that. Is not who I'm signed in as for.
I
credit.
know, sure.
Yeah.
But let's see what the.
No, but anyway, the point is that in trying to get a hold of somebody at Experian to talk to somebody and say what's going on here.
Yeah. So there's the 844.
Yeah, well, I'm like I can't remember what I am. I'm something like on Equifax. I'm much higher than that. You know?
I remembered. Yeah, you were in the mid eights.
Yeah, but you see, here's part of the problem. I would probably go down from in one company, TransUnion. I'm a good, and the reason is that I don't really
Charge anything?
I don't charge much of it. I mean, I have credit cards and I pay them off every month, but
Right.
that's not good.
No, they want you to.
They
pay.
want you to leave. If you leave a balance, that will improve your credit score, and that makes no sense to me at all. How does
Well,
it improve your
I
credit score that you owe money?
I got an email from Discover. Now I have a Discover card, but I haven't. I used it once, just once when I got it, and it was probably 8 years ago. So they just wrote me and they said that if I don't use the card before December 12th or something,
Yeah.
that they're going to close the account. Well, I don't like them. I fight for every point because if they close an account, that's going to drop my FICO 3, 4, 5 points because it'll drop my available credit. And, I don't want that to happen. So now I got to go out and charge a stick of gum on this goddamn Discover card. And which means I'm going to have to pay. No, I won't have to get a stamp to pay for it, to pay the bill. I can pay it online. But
Right.
what a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Just you gave me the card. I didn't use it. Just let me keep it in the safe.
Yeah, yeah. But I just I never heard of a FICO score before. That's the one Experian uses. The other
Yeah.
two guys use something else. I don't
They
know.
use Vantage.
Advantage, something like that. Yeah, and I mean, come on. I've always hated these credit reporting outfits because I got in a big fight with them years ago when I was in Houston, Texas, doing a talk show, and I went out after them. And you know what they did to me?
They lowered your credit score.
No, they didn't lower my credit score. They did away with my credit.
Wow.
They just completely Bennett Schwarzman, Alex Bennett does no longer exists.
Sounds like the FBI.
And it
Yeah.
took me a couple of years to get credit back again by spending money and paying it off.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's how horrible these people are.
Yeah.
And who are they? How are they to figure all this out?
Arbiters of,
I'm the perfect guy to borrow money because I pay it back every cent.
Right.
I don't have any bills that are in,
that are overdue.
overdue. I don't have any liens against me. Nothing.
Yeah.
Zero. Zilch.
Maybe they know you were a squatter.
That could be.
You know?
But I am now a senior and I don't work and I live on Social Security and and so consequently, we're.
Yeah. Well, I just went and got approved to get a mortgage. So there's a couple of houses I'm looking at, and I really need to get out of this apartment. First of all, I'm getting killed tax wise because that was my biggest write off was my house, and so I got a loan, or I got approved for a loan, and that's the credit bureaus
Yeah.
would say, well, if you want your credit to be higher, and I do, I mean, I can eke out a
Go
few
out
more.
and owe money.
Right. So that's what they said, that if you had
Yeah.
you had a mortgage or a car loan or something, your credit would be
You
higher.
would think if you didn't owe anybody anything and you only had one credit card, that would make you stellar. Okay? That would make you perfect, but it doesn't. You have to prove that you can go into debt.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, let's bring some of these other people in. You want to stick around?
Sure. As I don't know if Alan is waiting,
No,
but
he's not.
he failed today at poop.
At what?
Well, he went for a colonoscopy,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't clean himself well enough. So,
My doctor told me you did a really good job,
well,
and I'm going. Do I get a gold star? What
maybe we'll get him to call in, but I guess Alan is really full of shit because he couldn't get it out of there.
He couldn't do it right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me see here. Let me just get rid of your name there, and let me bring in all these other people. There are quite a few waiting to come on here.
Let's see what they were talking
Let's
about.
see here. Oh, there we go. Oh, we do have Alan.
Yeah. He had a shitty day.
Hello, Kevin. Hello, Alan. Hello, Mr. Neary. Hello, Mr. Wallace. And hello, Mr. Wheeler.
We're here to save the show.
Yes, you're here to save the show. Thank you.
Yeah, feels right. I had a shitty show. Not 100% shitty, though. I had a colonoscopy today.
Yeah.
And a gallon of drink that they give you. Take half at 6 o'clock last night and half at 5 this morning. And by the time I was done doing business in the bathroom, it wasn't coming out clear like it was supposed to. So I called and they said, come on in, maybe we can suction out a little bit. There was too much material in there, and the doctor looked and said, well, there's no big...
Okay, here's what you got to do. Forget that gallon of junk there. Tell your doctor...
I told him that there was something else that you knew about.
Yes, magnesium citrate.
Okay.
Magnesium citrate. It's a little bottle about this big. And you just drink a
Like a
bottle
pint.
the night before and the day of, and that's it. And you can do it in one swig. I actually put it in the refrigerator and get it good and cold.
Yeah.
And it just goes right down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll look into that.
A little vodka is pretty good too.
Vodka's good too. You put, yeah.
It is. It's not like the olden days where you fast for one day. Now you got to, cut out some of the pills that make you comfortable in life. The NSAIDs, you got to change your whole pill regimen.
They don't want you to use NSAIDs or NSAIDs, I think,
yeah.
whatever they are. They don't want you to use those. They don't want you to use aspirin. You can use Tylenol.
Right.
But the reason is because those are blood thinners, and they're worried that if you start bleeding, you will really start bleeding.
So I take an NSAID every day for my prostatitis.
Yeah,
and it works great.
Yeah, this is really an audience-getting discussion, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just,
It's very shitty as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So I got to go back again. I'll probably do it after the COVID surge and see how things go.
Yeah. But why did you? When did you get your last colonoscopy?
10 years ago.
By the way, did you hear our president had a colonoscopy the other day? And he was under, and the Rittenhouse verdict came through, and they passed one of his stimulus bills while he was under.
That's the only way they could do it. They said that what's her name, Kamala Harris, was acting president at that because he was under.
Yeah, absolutely. That always happens whenever a president goes in for a colonoscopy or whatever.
Yeah. I wonder now that she was an acting president if she goes down.
Well,
as
when Trump went in for a colonoscopy, they kept it a big secret.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kept it a big secret. I think it was because he figured that if he was having a colonoscopy, all the comedians would make jokes about it.
Yep.
Well, he was afraid
And, and when he had the vaccine shot and pushed everybody out of line to get first.
Yeah, let me first. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, did he do that? I know he did that at a summit.
Well, he pushed somebody out of the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And look what happened to her. Merkel is no longer the chancellor of Germany.
She decided not to run again.
Merkel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she couldn't run again. I think that they time out.
Do they time out or something?
Yeah, she couldn't stand the thought that Trump would be in charge of America again.
Well,
There's always hope.
you know what? Merkel, what her name means, it's a Southern term for God help me. It was a Merkel. Thank you very much. Little,
You know, Phil brought up the Carl Tucker Rittenhouse interview, and I actually
the Carl
watched that.
Tucker?
Tucker
Carlson.
Carlson. Sorry. Yeah,
Drink. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I
hey.
am, but if
Well,
you haven't seen
you guys
the-
better shape up tonight, you two, because they're gonna think I'm doing the show for morons. You know.
You are.
you know, forget about Fox News' conservative stance. Forget about Tucker Carlson's an idiot. He actually interviewed the kid pretty good. The kid sounded credible. It's 17 minutes long. It's on YouTube. You know, I didn't follow the trial real well, and so I'm not going to defend him or what happened or what the jury did. I wasn't in the jury. I don't know, but the Tucker Carlson, for once, Fox News put out something that the kid told his story. Tucker Carlson was just babysitting the little boy, so on stage, and it was actually not a bad interview. They didn't try and twist the kid's mind around to think the way they think, although it's already that way.
Well,
I
he
think.
is that way.
Yes.
The kid has been overwhelmed by Fox News and by conspiracy theories, and he goes over a state line. Admittedly, it was only a 20-mile drive, but he goes over a state line in order to just go make trouble, go looking for trouble.
He wanted to do. He was there to help people. He said.
Oh,
Please.
I don't buy that though, Phil.
Well, you know, there are photos of him removing graffiti. There are eyewitness accounts that he offered to render medical help, or asked if people needed it, and that was prior.
Why did he need a gun to do those kind of things?
For the same reason that those other guys had guns, to protect themselves. Plus, there was a
well, my saying is, you know, what's the line about good guys have guns? What's that line?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
a good guy with a gun is better than the bad guy with
a good guy with a gun is a guy with a gun. That's the problem.
I'm glad of that.
Yeah.
Now, there was some car lots. One of them got burned down the night before.
Yeah.
And I guess while Rittenhouse and his buddy were in and about, someone asked if they would watch the lot or try to, keep
Play security guard.
damage. Well, he wasn't being a security guard so much as just a presence.
The rifle.
Well, Phil, in deference to the other people here, let's let some of the other people talk now. Okay.
Can I ask, did anybody hear that Tucker Carlson actually bought the drone videotape that was part of the evidence that was used at the trial? Did anybody hear that news? 'Cause I heard it on Fox. But
No. I haven't heard it, but
Your mind's warped.
there's a sucker born every minute. I got some footage of my wedding to my first
Donald
wife.
Trump
if he
on
wants
his
to buy
knees.
it. What?
You got some footage of Donald Trump on his knees.
Well, we know that.
What-
Taking care of Putin.
Josh, what do you think about all the stuff that's been happening this week, the trials and the verdicts and so on?
I mean, we talked about it a little bit last time I was on. I mean, I don't care much about the Rittenhouse thing. If they're going to argue about it in circles, I mean, he shouldn't have went where he did, and he shouldn't have done what he did. But he went in, he does some stupid stuff, and
Well, I mean,
not guilty. So I guess that's the end of that. I mean,
Well, I mean, but
I
the
don't
fact
have any
is,
respect for the guy.
that you got two dead people. You know, that's immutable. You know, you can't argue that. Here's somebody named Chip. Do we know anybody named Chip, folks?
You go against
Yeah.
the guy
Yeah.
who already is.
Oh, there's
through-
Chip. Hi, Chip.
Noah Chip.
How are you, Chip? I recognize you now.
Hi, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, I mean, I
And
just
you couldn't take him to court.
hey, Jeff,
for-
turn your mic
Yeah.
off if you're going to be talking off camera.
All right.
Hey, you know, we give him a wide berth because he had a stroke. Okay, you know.
You know, he's given up the other guy's defense. You know?
But anyway, let me see here. So we're talking about the Rittenhouse thing. I just, you know, I just think the immutable fact is there are two dead people and a wounded person, and that you can't argue that, you know. And they were shot by Rittenhouse, and he got away using the "I felt threatened" excuse. You know, and I think that's why. See, that's why nobody should have guns, right? You know, nobody. Or at least if we said nobody can have guns, yeah, some people still would have guns, but there'd be a lot less of them around. That's driving Phil crazy. Yeah.
No,
I don't. I mean,
for other people to talk.
Wait a minute.
I don't know who walks around with a weapon like that, like with his hat on backwards, and he's all Mr. Cool. And then when he gets caught, he goes on trial and he cries like a fucking little bitch. I mean, because that's what he did. He fucking cried like a little bitch. I mean, really, you know, Desmond Doss didn't need a gun to win the Congressional Medal of Honor during World War II, but this little fucking punk bitch walked around like a fucking cowboy for 20 minutes and damn near got his fucking ass beaten down. And then he had to cry like a fucking bitch on the stand for his fucking mommy. Did he cry to fucking Fox News too? You know, I mean, he's a fucking little punk. I mean, I can play just like the other side, you know? If some guy would have taken that gun out of his hand and fucking beat the fuck out of him with the butt of it, you guys would want that guy in fucking prison. So what's the difference? I mean,
One guy tried to do that, and he shot him.
I mean, that's, you know what I'm saying? I
He
mean,
hit him over the head with a
yourself in that
skateboard.
Oh,
situation.
he shot him in the
What happens?
He shot one guy who grabbed the rifle stock, the front end of the rifle. So he grabbed it, and Rittenhouse shot him. I don't know if that was the guy that got shot in the arm or if that was one of the guys that got killed. But
I think it was a guy.
And
that
by
shot
the way,
Tom.
Phil, you know what nobody has mentioned, and I you know, I noticed it immediately. One of these guys was a Jew, so this is probably an anti-Semitic crime.
He could have been a German, you know, what do they call those guys? Goose stepping, Jew hater. You know.
Boy, I wish I had a gun right now just so I could blow my brains out listening to you.
I'll loan you this one.
Yeah, what were you going to say, Josh? You were getting into something there.
Oh, really? I mean, nothing really more. I mean, I didn't watch any of that. The only clips that I saw were just the various clips you would see on the news or like pictures that would be on the websites or whatever. And I mean, I that's what I saw. Like, I mean, so I could be wrong because I didn't watch the trial or whatever. But I mean, that's what I see. I see these pictures, you know, of him walking around. He's got his gun. He looks all cool and everything. And then as soon as something goes down, he cries. I mean, what kind of fucking man? I mean, I don't know. I'm just
Yeah, man up. I think
I'm fairly experienced with man-to-man violence, and I'm just telling you, you know, who the fuck cries like a fucking bitch the first fucking time you get?
He's on trial for his life. You know.
Well, good reason to cry like a bitch.
He wasn't
I
on
guess.
trial
I mean,
for his. He wasn't on trial for his life.
If he was convicted, he would have spent his life in prison.
Well, that's not. He's not. When you say his life, you're acting like he's going to be executed. Now, does anybody know here, is there a death penalty in Georgia?
He wasn't in Georgia.
No, we're talking about Georgia. I'm talking about the Georgia situation.
I don't know.
Oh my God, something you don't know?
No, I know everything, but I'm just admitting to that for purposes of.
No, there's a difference between what he knows and what he thinks he knows.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's what he thinks he knows.
Well, what happened in Georgia to me is murder.
Do you know Charlie? Is there a death penalty in Georgia?
I'm Googling it right now.
Are these guys up for the death penalty? I don't think so. Nobody's even mentioned
all
that
week,
fact.
Alex. You should have looked that up before you.
I would, even if there is, I don't think they could. I mean, the only thing that would probably carry the death penalty, even in Georgia, would be like first-degree murder, and I don't even think they were charged with that. And first-degree murder would have to come with other certain.
Well, they were charged with murder charges that could get them life. I do know that.
Correct. But I mean, like first-degree murder wouldn't come from. I mean, I can't pass you down the street and having never met you before, and then we have some sort of altercation and I kill you and it'd be murder in the first degree.
Well, knowing Georgia, I would find it I would find it unbelievable. You know.
Two things. One is the three good old boys followed him for a real long length of time before they caught up with him and shot him. But it says here Georgia's death penalty has evolved over the years and now uses lethal injection.
Yeah, it has a death penalty.
Execution. State has the fourth highest in the U.S. for carrying out executions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Behind Texas, we're number one.
Yeah.
And they've carried out they've killed 77 people since 1976. So
we do that last.
Either that or three guys in a pickup truck. You could do it that way too.
What? But I don't think these guys are up for the death penalty.
Well, we don't know. Two of them.
Federal murder.
Two of them. I know that they were convicted of murder. I don't.
The one guy was federal murder. He's the one that got the full murder charge, and the other two did not.
Is that the guy that pulled the
redhead?
The guy who shot the gun, the son.
Yeah.
That's probably because he had a MAGA hat on.
He had all the training.
By the way, I don't know. Do you people see what I see? Did you see this video that's running around about this football player beat his girlfriend up?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Did you notice what I noticed? That to me, I mentioned this the other night, was it was the part that got me worst of all. There was a cat involved in it? Did you see the cat? As she's throwing this woman across against the television set, this cat comes flying out, and then goes along the couch, and then flies off the couch and out the door.
Yeah, want to get out of there.
Videotape the attack? They videotaped the attack?
Yeah. What happened was he had beaten her up many times before, and she wanted to catch him in the act. So she put in cameras in the apartment.
You think that she set him up and tried to?
Let's say
there's nothing you could say to set somebody up to how he threw her across the room several times.
Well, maybe she's.
Phil, look at it.
There is no defense for what he did.
You're a stinking lousy football player.
You still don't do what he did to her.
Oh,
look, Phil. Yeah, look at that video before you start.
Yeah, that's what happened, Phil. He gave her a good reason to do it.
Yeah.
Give him a wedgie.
Not her fault.
Yeah, so
Fake news.
This guy, the football players, what did he do? Smacked her. But the guy in Wisconsin the other day, he mowed down and killed 6, and there's 40 some odd people injured. And he was let out of jail for doing the same thing to his girlfriend. He ran her over,
right?
And they gave him $1,000 bail, and now they finally raised it to $5 million.
Probably something like that.
But that's what's happening with these progressive DAs.
Wonder if they'll do a GoFundMe.
Probably thought they were looters or something, so. Fucking ran their ass over, so they couldn't fucking rob the big lots.
Donald Trump in the news today patted him on the back too.
Hey, he wanted to get through the parade, and they were holding him up. He had places to go and people to see.
People to run
Yeah,
down.
you know,
Yeah.
they could
Chip-
have sold all the toilet paper.
Now
in the whole fucking town.
that is a classic case of premeditated murder.
Yeah. Chip,
That's an angry guy.
Chip, any thoughts on what we've been saying? I would want to drag you kicking and screaming into this.
I've just been watching the Rittenhouse thing, not necessarily the. I didn't even remember the 3 guys in the truck part.
Yeah.
Well, that was a different guy. Different guy.
Yeah, no, right. But I had forgotten all about that till today when they,
Right. Right. Well, I think the Rittenhouse, of the 2 cases, the Rittenhouse had the more drama to it, I guess. And so it got the biggest portion of. But once the other trial started, they were covering that too.
Yeah, but like Chip's saying, the Ahmaud Arbery was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a while ago.
The cops weren't even going to charge these guys with anything.
Oh, the guy was filming, right?
And the mother kept pursuing it and pursuing it and pursuing it until finally they charged these guys. But initially, am I right, Charlie? They weren't going to charge these guys.
Oh, they weren't.
It's unfortunate that it took the mother to get them to prosecute these people.
Yeah.
And thank God for the stupid idiot who filmed them doing it, because if not for that video, there'd be no case.
But the guy who filmed them, was he one of the guys?
Yeah, he was on trial.
Little boys?
Yeah,
Peaches.
I thought he was a proud boy.
Because you are an accessory to the act if it's going on and you don't do anything.
Well, when people are on a subway train, for instance, and they see someone get attacked and they film it instead of trying to
And by the way,
break
he was brought into it by these guys who said, come on, we got a guy's, why don't you videotape it, blah, blah, blah. So he became part of the conspiracy, or whatever you want to call it.
It's like the guy that drives the car when they knock off a liquor store. He's just as culpable as the guys who pulled the trigger.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the biggest news this week. And of course, all the news outfits were living it up, telling the story. And then our former president, Donald Trump, invites Rittenhouse to Mar-a-Lago, where he then goes on, I think, Tucker Carlson or some show, saying what a fine young man he was, and that we're so happy for him. The guy's a murderer. I don't care what you say. I mean, maybe he had extenuating circumstances, but he killed 2 people.
He's not guilty by reason of...
It's not a question of guilty or not guilty. It's immutable that he killed 2 people.
In defense of his own life.
No, you're adding that, but he killed 2 people.
Well,
and what you're doing is you're patting on the back somebody for killing 2 people.
I think what he did was he culled the herd. Those guys...
Everybody, you can laugh now. That was very funny.
Hey, those
it's a
guys...
joke. It's a joke.
Time for another drink.
One of them's a child molester. The other one's a wife beater.
There we go again. This circle just keeps going. Phil,
I'm on my third
we already
drink.
said that he didn't know that when he came up to those guys.
He didn't.
Say, "Oh, you're a child to be or sex or
They
whatever."
were wearing a sign on the forehead. I'm a child user.
Charlie, he did the world a favor.
I'll make a movie reference. They were wearing an M on their back.
Dial M for murder?
No, M.
M.
Yeah, silent film.
Oh,
Peter Lorre's first film.
Oh, yeah.
M. It wasn't his first film, but it was the film he got famous for. As a child molester, and because he was a child molester, they put the M on his.
He's related to Matt Gates, isn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
Was he the Hunchback of Notre Dame also?
No, that was Lon Chaney. Boy, Phil.
All right, I asked the question.
He's getting forgetful, Alex. It's okay.
It's all right.
I know the feeling though, so yeah.
It's getting worse.
If it's not written down, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, we got my wife is getting somewhat forgetful about stuff too. Yeah, so.
It happens when you turn 60.
Yeah.
It must be nice of you to be married to a woman that's 22 years younger than you. I'm joking.
Is his girlfriend 22 years younger than he is?
No, you were talking. I said, welcome to your 60s, and you said your wife is getting forgetful too. And I said she's 60, and we know you're 81 or 82, and I said, forget it.
She's not 60.
I was
I mean, admittedly, she's the oldest woman I've ever gone out with.
Oh,
In age,
Alan's full of shit, and he can't count either.
oh boy.
At least I know what text came to me on what day, Bill.
Yeah, well,
So anyway,
delegate that.
what's new in the life of Brian Neary?
We are putting all the equipment in our new building, our new fancy building, to start saving lives pretty soon. So I think January we're going to be up and running tests for COVID. So it's good.
Yeah.
As we can. So yeah, really happy this one. And I've learned a lot this last year from the first building. So this is really exciting for me.
So how many buildings do you have now?
Well, I'm in charge of China, India. There's one building each, just small stuff right now there. And then Newark has 2 buildings, and I just that's up off to another group. And so I'm just focused
So this
on
company must be making money hand over fist.
We have blank checks from our parent company right now.
Oh, really?
Well, you got free advertising from Trump in the Rose Garden, remember?
Yeah, when he couldn't pronounce our name.
Nobody could pronounce your name.
Yeah.
Well, it's on my cap.
Yeah, I have another one. I got to send that to you. Yeah.
Cephide.
Yeah.
Is it Cephide or Cepheid?
Cepheid.
Cepheid?
Yeah, Cepheid. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, it's so hard to pronounce.
I'm wearing a cap, too, because, see, I got a rash here. See my rash on my forehead? It's terrible.
Contagious?
Huh?
Are you contagious?
No, I don't think so. And Charlie, how's everything down in Texas? Deep in the heart of.
Doing pretty good so far.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got my booster shot about a week and a half ago, so I'm good.
Yeah, I finally they put my booster shot on my Excelsior pass on my phone, so I have that all set up now. But it's about time for me to get the 4th one when they say it's okay.
Bring it on, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Isn't Excelsior the logo of New York State?
Yeah, and they have a thing called the Excelsior Pass.
I see. Which
is a here, I'll show it to you. See, that's it. This is one of them. This is just that just has the what do you call QR code there.
QR code.
Okay, and then we have this other thing called the Excelsior Pass Plus, and if you look there at the bottom, let's see, it says 3. See, I've had 3 of them. Okay.
California, or I am very low tech. This is my card, and that's a picture of the card, and so
really
that's what I use. Yeah, that's what I use to be able to.
Well, we have one for New York City that you take the picture of your card.
Yeah.
And you put it on there, and you take a picture of your driver's license.
Yeah.
So you can show your driver's license.
The next screen.
Phil, yeah. California has the QR code too.
Yeah.
And then you can sign up for Clear, and Clear will give you a section for your vaccination information too, and it gets you into venues. So each time you go to a venue, it'll give you an updated pass to get into a venue.
Is that the Clear that you use on airlines?
Yes, it's part of it. It's a section of it.
Huh.
And then they have a whole list of venues like SAP Center or all these places in San Francisco. And each day you go to a venue, you just go in there. It takes a picture of yourself to verify it's you, and then it gives you a 24-hour pass. And you show it at the door, and then you get in.
Wow. So,
interesting.
Yeah, it's getting nice. Where are you again, Chip?
North Idaho.
North Idaho. Do you have anything like that there? Do you have anything like these little cards?
No, not at all. Matter of fact, they're having trouble rolling out the booster shot up here. Not every place has it yet, and they're still going by ages and
Well, how can you be bad at rolling out the booster shots if you've got the other shots there?
Because it's a red state.
Hey, isn't
And
Idaho?
Hold on a second, Phil. I'm talking to Chip.
I asked him a question.
Go ahead. Anyway, Chip, what were you saying?
When we first got the vaccine up here, it was probably 2 to 3 months after many of you guys had already gotten the first one.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the thing is that the third shot is really no different than the first shot. Although if you have the Moderna, it's half the dose of the. Although I had a full dose of Moderna for my third shot. You too?
Yeah, mine was a Pfizer.
But all they have to do is just, they got the Pfizer's there, right? There's enough of it to go around now. It's not like I mean, you have to wait 3 weeks for a shot because there isn't enough.
Well, for instance, I got mine at Walgreens, and Walgreens doesn't have it right now, but I can go over the next city over and get it from Rite Aid.
Now, right. Chip, was there a big outbreak of COVID cases in Idaho?
Per capita, we were probably number 2 in the nation by the amount of people that are here.
And there are only 3 people in Idaho, Chip and 2 others.
True. No, that's Montana. That's next door.
Alan wants to say something.
Yes, Alan.
God damn, you really changed your looks, Alex. It says Phil Meyer now. So yeah, I'm just teasing. So a lot of the reason why they're allowing people to interchange vaccines is because in rural United States, there may be only 1 or 2 pharmacies, and they may only have Pfizer or Moderna, and so they looked into this, saying, yeah, you could take either one. We prefer you to take the one you had to start with the 2-shot series, but it's better to get boosted by Moderna if you had Pfizer, if that's all that's available.
Yeah,
and that's why the CDC did that.
Josh, you had a problem at your company where you had a couple of cases, right, of COVID?
Yeah, we go through spurts here and there. Yeah.
Did they shut the line down?
No, they would never do that.
Sounds like our company. Yeah, we get emails like every couple of days that somebody has it, and they said, but you weren't affected. Even the schools, we keep getting them too, saying that your child, there's a staff member or student at your child's school.
Now, how old is Adrian now? Adrian is 6.
6, just turned 6.
Is she able to get a shot?
Yeah, she is now. So tomorrow I'm looking online to get her. I wanted to wait. Make sure everything's okay first. So,
but I would get it for her.
Oh yeah. No, she's definitely gonna get it.
And if she has any fear about it, tell her it doesn't hurt. It really, how many here when you got your COVID shot, did it hurt at all?
I cried like Rittenhouse.
Oh, okay. But I mean, I didn't even know even know they had done it.
Oh yeah. No, she's had shots for going to Vietnam when we went to Vietnam, so she's okay.
I had to ask him if it was a placebo because I didn't feel anything.
Yeah, no, it was really both times. Afterwards, your arm kind of hurts a little bit, and maybe you feel a little punky for a day or so. But otherwise, it's a no-brainer. The flu shot, the yearly flu shot, is more painful. I went and got my flu shot, and I went, wow, now that hurts. So.
Our company has gone strict now on the vaccine, and they have a due date. I don't even know what the date is, but they had us go online and download all our stuff. And they're saying that if they don't have vaccines with a certain date, then they're going to start letting people go.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy. I hope more companies do that.
I'm all for that. I think the country ought to declare a national health law and force everybody to get the vaccine.
That's the American way.
Well, no, I don't see where forcing people to get a vaccine in a time of great national tragedy, really,
right.
And danger, it's to me acceptable. It's also
they should say that it's the American thing to do. Do it for your neighbors, do it for your friends, and do it for your family. But don't do it because we're going to hit you over the head if you don't do it, and we're going to punish you.
Well, I think we should shame people.
Well,
for
that's
not
the
doing
problem.
it.
Yeah.
That's
You
the
know?
problem. You know, it's America will step up to the plate when asked.
No, but they haven't.
Well,
They
they
haven't.
haven't because there's
Not
a
Texas.
draconian system out there trying to hit them over the head.
So if they get it and die, they're that stupid.
That's their problem.
Listen, I saw an interview on TV the other day with somebody in another country where they were having an uptick, and the doctor was saying, yeah, we have people in here and they're dying every day. About 80% of them who go on ventilators die.
Yeah.
He said, and every one of them wasn't vaccinated.
Mm.
A lot of people that go on ventilators prior to the vaccinations were dying too. But
Yeah, but the fact is, if you're not vaccinated, your chances of dying are about 12 times what they are if you are
it's
vaccinated.
like people don't wear helmets on their motorcycle. I mean,
But there's a law that you have to wear helmets on your motorcycle.
not in every state.
How dare you tell
Not
me
in Idaho.
what I can do?
I don't have
Not in Idaho.
You know, in Ohio, in Hawaii, you don't have to wear a helmet when you ride a motorcycle.
But I mean, the fact is,
the people, it's the same people to me. The people that choose not to get a vaccine are the same people that choose not to wear a helmet, and they're the same people that would vote for Trump.
You don't wear a helmet?
I don't have a motorcycle.
well, Trump acts like he never wore a helmet.
Yeah.
You know,
He's
That
got
was
an orange
his
one.
perfect
His
hair.
hair would protect them.
That's right.
I mean, it's just this is the time of a national emergency.
I agree
And
with
everybody
you.
should say, "I'm rolling up my sleeve and I'm getting the shot." I'm not exactly sure that it's the right thing to do, but it's the right thing to do for my community.
Well, let me tell you what people think on my side of the aisle. They think that Big Pharma is being paid off by these $40 shots for every American, 330 million shots maybe, or double that if there's 2 shots. And that money, part of that money then gets funneled back to the DNC and Democratic candidates.
God.
That's
So stupid.
Who came up with that half-ass theory?
no.
Look,
it's
I
people
agree
believe
with you.
it.
Big Pharma is making has had a windfall out of this.
Right. And
But-
who does
but-
Big Pharma support?
And they'll support. They believe me. Most of these big companies spread the money around to
They give
hedge their.
80% to Republicans.
Trump wanted Big
Wait a
Pharma
minute. What did you
to
say,
lower their
Charlie?
price.
Charlie, what did you say?
Big Pharma gives 80% of their donations to Republicans. They
And
don't
where
give
did
the
you, where did you get that from?
I got it from Google. Go Google it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll ask Tony. He'll know.
Yeah.
It's spelled GOO.
We'll ask you.
Although you're spelling it for him, but there was a time where if you said Google, somebody would say, "How do you spell that?"
Yeah.
You know.
I actually owned stock early on in Yahoo, and my broker had never heard of Yahoo. But by the time I sold it, bought it at 30, sold it at 300, everybody had heard of it. So
But you are a Yahoo.
Yeah, a rich Yahoo.
How many shares did you have?
I bought 500 shares.
And you sold it back at 300?
Yeah, well, I should have waited because it went up even higher.
Yeah, it's probably worth a lot more.
Listen,
It went down also for a while. It was really in the dumper. And who bought it? Time magazine or
Are you talking about Yahoo or Trump right now?
Yahoo? Yahoo was like really in the dumper.
when I was at Sirius, they
Yeah.
got into bad shape at one point where they were almost going to go out of business. The stock went down to 5 cents. And I was thinking about buying it at 5 cents, but who knows? If I bought it, the company would have gone out of business. But one thing led to another, and that 5 cents is now not big, but $6. But if I had bought, say, $10,000 worth back then at 5 cents, how much money would I have now? I have several
20
million.
times. 20 times is $1. So 20 times 6 is $120 on a nickel.
$20,000 is what you have.
What?
So if you had bought If you had bought $10,000 worth, it'd be worth over $100,000 now.
Oh no, much more than that.
120 times more than he paid. Well, no,
Oh, you're right. It'd be
because
a million.
a nickel is 1/20th.
Okay, let me put it this way: if I had bought that and it went up to $1, I would have had about $200,000.
Yeah.
$200,000, and it went up to $6. I would have had about $1.5 million right now.
Over $1 million. Yeah.
So I've had pretty good luck with some of the tech stocks. I bought Microsoft when it was fairly new, and it's worth a lot more than
I did a job for Microsoft back in the early days of Microsoft. They had some damage. They had a building on Sand Hill Road in Palo Alto, and I charged them. It was like 1987 or 88. I charged them $300 to fix a scratch from their Christmas tree on their hardwood floor. The guy said to me, "Do you want the money or do you want us to pay you in stock?" I said, "I'll take the cash." Can you imagine if I took that 300 in 1987 of Microsoft stock at that time?
Yeah.
Yeah, right now it'd probably be worth 250.
No. If he had gone for that deal, Microsoft would have gone out of business.
Of course.
But if we had all that money, we would never have gotten to know Phil.
Yeah, well, if what's the golden rule? Everything I touch turns to shit. It's the golden rule in reverse.
Well, anyway, what happened was when it was at $5, my boss went out and convinced somebody to buy into the company, buy 40% of the company, and it saved the company. And that happened over a weekend. And I saw him on Monday morning in the break room, and I said, "How close did we come?" He said, "You have no idea."
You remember when Apple was in the dumper and what's his name? Microsoft, the guy from Microsoft, Bill Gates, bought a significant amount.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
No, he bought Apple stock.
No, what he did is he invested in Apple's future by porting all his Word products and so on over to Apple, and that helped save Apple, believe it or not.
Yeah,
but I don't think he put any money in there. Maybe he did.
I thought he bought a lot of stock, and they were like almost they were this close to going out of business.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that was in the early days. That wasn't later on when they were close to going out of business. But, Jobs managed to go in there and do some kind of hat trick, and the company survived.
Well,
and
he had a vision for the company.
Who was that?
I don't know. But he had a vision for the company. And, the guy from Pepsi-Cola, was it, who had taken over after they ousted Jobs?
Pepsi-Cola? Now somebody can burp. Go ahead.
Oh, that was me. I thought I was on mute. Sorry.
It's okay.
Who is the guy that took over Apple? Scully?
Scully, yeah.
Yeah. I thought he worked for. I thought he was
the guy who landed the plane.
Different Scully.
I'll tell you what happened was at one point. Apple, I was putting down Apple on the air in San Francisco, and they got a hold of me, and they said, "We want to send you an Apple computer." Okay, and I said, "Okay, to use, and then when you're through with it, you can send it back, right?" They sent me this Apple computer, and this was during the Scully times. This was the worst piece of crap I have ever had in my life. I opened it up because I wanted to see what the internals were like. And they were actually using tin foil in it as a, as an insulator. Tin foil. I mean, it was the worst piece of crap I've ever used in my life. And finally, I called them back and they said, "Well, what do you think of it?" And I said, "To tell you the truth, this is the worst piece of crap computer I've ever used." And they said, "Well, then, okay, keep it." So I kept it, but I never used it because the goddamn thing was so slow and so sluggish and so badly built, you know.
They sure changed that, didn't they?
Here,
Yeah,
I got
they
a
did.
thing here. This is, I don't know what news service this is, but it says Bill Gates actually bought 150 million in
Oh,
Apple
really?
stock in
Okay.
August of 1997, a purchase that probably saved the Cupertino company from bankruptcy.
Yeah, but was that? I don't think that was at the time that Jobs was back there yet.
I'm not sure. No, it wasn't because didn't they have a sort of a feud going on between Bill Gates and Steve Jobs?
Well, no, but no. Jobs brought Gates onto one of his early, pep talks that he was given. One of his selling the new products and stuff, and then said, "And now here's something you'll never see. Here's Bill Gates to tell you about what Microsoft is doing." And what they were doing is they were making the suite of Microsoft products, Office products, available to Apple.
It was a smart move. Did you see the latest Apple release of the iPhone and stuff? They brought all kinds of tech people up that had something to do with it, with different companies on stage. Very nice. Apple did.
Yeah.
The new phone can't be that much better that I got to spend $1,300. I like my iPhone 10. There's no reason to
10. I'm up to the 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have an 11. I mean, what's up?
And I got to tell you, if you like photography, this is the phone for you.
Yes.
I still got a 6.
I sold my I sold my D850 today, my Nikon D850. I'm on the waiting list for the Z9 from Nikon, which is their new mirrorless flagship
But
camera.
you don't need that. You got this.
Well,
I gotta tell you, this is
I
amazing.
went out and shot the rocket last night with my wife's 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it shot up out of Vandenberg, I could see it from here.
The
So you
13.
shot at it with a shotgun?
The 13.
No, with
The 13 has depth of field. When you're doing video,
with your
I mean,
phone.
it has a cinematic mode, they call it.
Yeah, my 10 didn't have that. The 12 had some kind of night vision, whatever.
But I mean, for photographs, I took a photograph at night out the window the other night, and the way it shot it was just absolutely awe-inspiring. You're wasting your money.
It's my last two bodies. This one I'm keeping, and this one I'm selling. This one I use in an underwater enclosure.
I bet you're going to have a hard time selling it.
Nah, this is the D4. This was the flagship camera. It was $6,500 new. I'll get $1,000 for it.
Yeah,
So-
but what I'm saying is, this has pretty much ended the need for those kind of cameras, except for real professionals who are doing like fashion modeling and things like that, studio work.
Yeah.
But for just shooting stuff, I mean, I'm taking pictures on this thing that they're breathtaking. They're just breathtaking.
Yeah, I have more control with that.
You have a lot of
And,
control over this now.
And then the lenses.
And
you know,
here you also have control, believe it or not, Phil, after the fact. You can just shoot it without anything.
can you put this on your phone?
No,
I think he's compensating for something.
but I can use it. But I could
Put it
use it
between your
but-
legs.
But I don't want to brag. I could use it as a condom. Anyway,
They've been doing some crazy smash and runs. They did in Walnut Creek, right? Phil? They had like 20 or 30 people going in like Louis Vuitton in San Francisco and just rushing and grabbing stuff and taking
One in
off.
Palo Alto
they
was like
did-
50 or something.
What they did was I think they said there was 80 cars. They blocked the street, Broadway Plaza. Then they went in. They smashed cases. They took $200,000 and damage, $200,000 in damage and merchandise. And the cops actually caught 3 of them. One of them was a felon with a gun. And
It's like
so
3:30 in the afternoon too.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
All those school children having to witness.
And what were they? Was it Nordstrom's? What was it?
Nordstrom's.
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton in San Francisco. They're on the corner.
And Nordstrom's in Walnut Creek.
Yeah.
And there was another one.
And they all
Place called
happened
Real in Palo Alto.
But they also happen within a short time of each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same day. Yeah.
This had to be coordinated between, you got 80 people that all show up at the same time. They have a flash mob.
MS-13 or some kind of gang like that, probably coordinated.
Well, it was, they had some sort of flash mob. They all run in, they ransack the place, take the merchandise, run out, and start driving away.
You only live a couple blocks from that. Why didn't you go down there with your
I did.
weapon and protect the place?
No, well,
Yeah,
I wanted some Louis Vuitton.
That's right.
I want a plastic purse that has somebody else's initials on it and costs $3,000. That's what I want.
Oh, okay.
But
Good.
they didn't have it in pink.
Yeah, that's your color.
So anyway, we got about 7 minutes left. What are you all doing for Thanksgiving?
Football.
Eating.
Sorry.
Football.
Yeah. Hope Cowboys lose again.
Okay. So
I can't.
Tiffany's got to work Thursday, Friday, so she can have Christmas off. So I got the kids.
wait a minute. She has to work? What does she do?
She works at the same company.
Your company?
Yeah, she does all. They do all the QA releasing of all the product going out.
So you dipped your pen in the company ink?
Huh? What are you talking about? No, I knew her before.
Yeah.
And you got her a job with your influence, right?
Yeah.
Not at all. Don't say that. She gets mad at people that say that. No,
All right.
not at all. I stay out of that stuff. I don't have any of my friends working there.
I was being
Why does the
sarcastic.
company need to work her on Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving.
Because we're saving the world. Because our demand is just so high we can't keep up. So we're working every day. We're working Christmas, everything.
Well, you're also in a lot of different countries, and the United States is the only country that has Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
Canada has
No,
Thanksgiving.
yes,
A
but
different day,
but
so-
2 months
That was last
earlier.
month, though.
Yeah,
They stole it from us.
our demand is too high right now. So I've been there.
Well, I happen to think that the Thanksgiving is the nicest holiday of them all. Do you
I
know?
like Halloween.
Huh?
I like Halloween.
Really?
It gives Phil a chance to take his mask off one day a year.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is that I always liked Thanksgiving because it's a non-religious holiday, and it is it's just a very nice holiday. People getting together, and even people. I find now what I always used to do is I would always invite people over for Thanksgiving who had nowhere to go. A lot of times there were comedians who were working in town, and their families were all the way over halfway across the country, and so I would hold Thanksgiving for them. And I just think it's a really nice holiday. It's the only one that I really look forward to. Christmas, forget it. My father used to have a saying every year that Christmas is at our throats again, and it's true. I mean, Christmas is just all kinds of people commit suicide at Christmas, for crying out loud.
Slang said Happy Jew Year.
Yeah.
Your interview.
Yeah, but I mean, I just always find Thanksgiving very nice, because what do? You just giving just thanks for all the wonderful things,
How come there's no national holiday for Jewish holidays? You got Martin Luther King Day, and everybody
Well,
takes
listen,
off.
in New York, I hate to say it, but Rosh Hashanah is pretty much
Plus there so many of them are observing.
Yeah, it's pretty much a holiday here.
But it's not a national holiday. There's no stamp that says,
No, the Christmas is a holiday. Thanksgiving is a holiday. But what do you call it? The African one, the Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa isn't a national holiday.
Nope.
What else isn't a national holiday?
Veterans Day is a national holiday.
Veterans Day is a national holiday.
Yeah, like somebody at my store said, "Well, I'm going to take off for Veterans Day." I said, "You can't." And they said, "Why?" I said, "There's no Hallmark card for Happy Veterans Day."
Right, exactly. Yes, yes, Alan.
Is Jack doing a show tonight? Do you know?
Yes. Why wouldn't he be?
Well, because last week he said that he wasn't going to do a couple shows.
No, that was last week when he had wound up in the hospital.
This is Friday night. He was talking.
The colonoscopy is coming
Last
back
night
on.
he said he's doing a show tonight.
Yeah, he's not
After
doing a
last
show.
night.
He's not doing a show Thursday or Friday.
Okay, well then.
Just like I'm not doing a show Thursday or Friday.
I can't even call Jack. I forgot my Skype password.
It's Gabnet Live.
Reinstall it.
Oh,
No,
your
that's
password.
That's your Skype password. I can't sign into Skype because I can't remember the password.
Well, just download it again. You know.
It told me $19.63 to be able to make phone calls. I can't get that back either unless I sign in.
And you can't remember what the name to use, so you can't use up the money that's left in your account. And then you get these pieces of. You know what'll happen? You don't have the password, but you will get a piece of mail from them saying you haven't used your money in a long time. It's going to become inactive.
It became inactive.
Oh, okay. But what you do isn't there a way you can go on there and find out what your password was?
I don't know. I'll try.
Oh, I'll tell you the best. Well.
Type mattgates.com and that'll be your password.
It's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
there might be something.
Anybody have any thanks they're giving on Thanksgiving? What are you thankful for, Phil?
Well, I
know
feel
the Second Amendment.
Yeah, Second Amendment. I feel good. You know, I'm going to the gym tomorrow.
I know. We heard about that. Yeah. And one day you'll stop going to the gym, and then you will. You will.
The guy who's the coach is so.
How many people here think that Phil will eventually stop going to the gym?
Coach, he says to you, if you don't show up, you're out. He says, if you don't give 100%, you're out. He says,
okay,
but
we're getting into a whole different territory there. I just asked you what you were thankful for. How about you, Kevin? What are you thankful for? Anything particular? Kevin? Is there anything you're thankful for?
Yeah, I woke up this morning.
Okay, Alan.
I'm thankful that I so far survived COVID.
Okay, that's a good one. How about you, Brian?
Thankful. Yeah, just have a good job.
You have a beautiful family.
And a beautiful family. Just absolutely beautiful. How about you, Charlie?
I'm thankful for my health.
Yeah. How about you, Josh?
Just Gabnet.
Oh well.
Oh,
man, you have low expectations, don't you? How about you, Jeff?
I do like Gabnet. I think that's a good thing for all of us.
You're muted.
And how about Chip?
I'm kidding.
Chip, what are you thankful for?
But I really like.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. What, Jeff?
I really
family
like
and friends,
seeing
I
my
guess.
wife.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
To cook for everybody. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, okay. And
She's
Chip,
really
you said
working her ass off.
friends and family. You
Yeah.
know, I'm thankful for, and I don't normally think about this. I'm about to become 82. I'm thankful for that. You know?
Yeah.
Are you a
Hope I
Capricorn?
make it.
Huh?
Are you a Capricorn?
No, I'm not.
December.
I'm a Sagittarius. I'm a Sagittarian.
I'm a
You're a disc jockey.
I used to be a vegetarian, but you know, I swore off. Thanks, Phil. Have a nice, happy Thanksgiving. Same to you, Kevin. Thank you, Alan. And also, I give thanks to these people here because they've been with me for a long time and loyal, and you really care about this show, and I appreciate it. Brian, thank you. Thank you to Charlie. Thank you to Jeff. Thank you to Josh. And thanks to Chip. Good having you here, Chip. Everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye back. And when you see me on screen here, I'll have absolutely be out of sync completely. Anyway, let me just stop there we go. Okay, now I should start getting back into sync. Anyway, all I want to say to all of you is have a very nice Thanksgiving. We'll be off tomorrow night. We'll be off on Friday night. Same thing with Jack. And then we'll see you all back here on Monday for the pop-up show on Facebook. And then on the following Wednesday at 10:30 for the Ramble. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her. And by the way, if you haven't done it yet, get the vaccination. And if you aren't vaccinated, wear a mask. Be a good citizen. Anyway, everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. I'm going to have some turkey. Bye.